In today's video, I'm gonna give you 10 tips to have really powerful, effective, rapid inductions. I'm here at my master hypnosis certification, live here in Las Vegas. And one of the things that I teach in this training is rapid inductions. So I figured, what better time to make a video about rapid inductions? Now, here's the thing, folks. I can give you a script of what to say in a rapid induction. You can watch videos online. There's tons of videos out there. However, if you don't have these 10 things, it's gonna be very difficult to be effective. So let's dive in, okay? So first thing you have to have when doing a rapid induction is you wanna have a strong frame, okay? This is you coming into the interaction with authority, right? With confidence and knowingness within yourself that what you're about to do is gonna work, okay? Humans, we naturally respond to authoritative figures, even if we don't like them, right? If a cop pulls you over, you respond to them because they are an authority. And the reason this is because thousands and thousands of years ago, when we were in small little tribes, if you didn't listen to the chief or the king or the person in charge, then that meant death, okay? Now, it's not so much the same today, but that inherent fear of, again, being penalized for not listening to an authority is deeply ingrained in our DNA. So when you come in with a strong frame, you have an authoritative frame, it just makes people want to listen to and want to follow your orders, okay? Which brings me to my second point, is to take control of the interaction, okay? So if you allow the person that you're hypnotizing to take control, you're gonna have a long day. So there's tips and techniques you can do to do that. And we want to do that right away. Now, another piece of this, which is similar to taking control, meaning, hey, this is what we're going to do, right? Telling them what's going to happen. There's also an underlying piece of this, which is also getting compliance. So it sounds the same, however, it's a little bit different. So let me give you an example. One thing that I teach in not our master practitioner, but our hypnosis practitioner, it's our intro course or beginner's course, is how to do what we call a suggestibility test. So in other words, we have our clients put their hands out in front of them and we imagine that, or have them imagine that their hands are magnets. And eventually their hands come together. It's a pretty cool thing. If you've ever experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Now, one thing that we do when we tell our clients to do this exercise, we say, hey, put your hands out in front of you like this, okay? And then go through the thing. Now, people, whether they're doing this consciously or unconsciously, often they'll go like this and they put their hands, okay, they're not fully stretched out. So what's happening is they're unconsciously, or maybe they are consciously, resisting what you're saying. They're not complying, even if it's that small of a detail. So we want to get compliance. We want to get them to listen to every single step that we're doing. So when you're doing a rapid induction, if you find that the person is not listening to what you're saying, make sure you get that compliance before you follow the next step. Even if it's something as simple as put your hands here instead of here. Because again, they're starting to resist unconsciously and you want to break through that resistance, okay? Which brings me to my fourth step, which is small commitments, okay? And this also helps build compliance, right? So there's a saying in business and sales, small commitments lead to large commitments, right? Let's say you wanted to make friends with somebody, right? You're like, hey, be my best friend. No, it starts off with small commitments. You have a conversation back and forth. Maybe you have a phone call, then you go to coffee, then you go to lunch, then you go to dinner, and then you spend years, and then that person becomes your best friend. Or in a business transaction, right? If somebody's going to spend $50,000 with you, $100,000, they're going to have to be small incremental commitments before that bigger commitment, right? So we do this in our rapid inductions to be able to start to build on the commitments. Because the more we can get small little incremental commitments, the more they will go and follow the big commitment, which is ultimately doing the rapid induction, right? Tip number 5 is tell what's going to happen, okay? So in hypnosis, we use this little phrase, in a moment or in a few seconds, or here very shortly, you will experience blank. Now, what's interesting is if I say, as an example right now, in a moment, you're gonna begin to relax and let your shoulders just drop down now. That's right. Now, most of you, hit the like button, by the way, if you felt yourself relax for a moment, or you felt your shoulders drop down, or you took a deep breath, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. So here's the interesting thing. I said, in a moment, you're gonna feel this way. And I inserted what I want you to feel, and you already began to feel it. So this is a way where we can bypass the critical faculty, go directly into the subconscious mind without telling somebody directly. So if I said, hey, relax your shoulders, let your shoulders drop down, relax, there might have been some resistance. But because I put the phrase in a moment, the critical faculty doesn't reject it and allows a suggestion to go to the subconscious mind. So when you tell people what's going to happen, hey, in a moment, I'm going to do this. In a moment, this is what's going to happen. In a few seconds, you're going to experience this. They start to accept those suggestions. All right, step number 6 is to fully commit when you're doing the rapid induction, okay? Now, when you're practicing rapid inductions for the first time, before you go out and do it with people in public or people you've never met before, practice with people that you know so you can get good at it. You can get your scripting down. You can get, all the little things in detail on how to do it. And once you go to do it, once you go to grab their hand or put them, whichever technique you're going to use, you have to fully commit, okay? And when you use the word, say sleep, if that's the word you're going to use to put them in trance, it can't be like sleep, right? Where there's that hesitation or that lack of confidence. It has to be sleep so that they feel that commanding tone from you. And again, that you're fully committed to it. Because if you're a little bit like, if you're a little nervous when you go to grab their hand or do the exercise, they're going to feel it. So when you're doing rapid inductions, fully commit to it. And I promise you, you will see a massive difference in your effectiveness of it. All right. Number 7, okay, if it doesn't work, go back at it again. All right. At this point in my career, very rarely do I get somebody where a rapid induction doesn't work. Even in the beginning, like I practiced so much that by the time I got to do it with somebody live, I already had everything pretty much down. However, from time to time, you'll get somebody where you do the exercise and maybe they're like, oh, it didn't work, or, whatever the case may be. Perfect. Don't take it as a loss. Don't take it as, oh, it's not working. Just say, hey, you know what? I need to come at this person from a different angle and keep doing it until they acquiesce, until they go along with what you're doing. Recently, I was doing a training in Miami. It was a 2-day training. It was a very small group. And the gentleman who was teaching, he said, hey, could you hypnotize, one of the other guys that was there? So I skipped a whole bunch of steps because I just was like, you know what, let me just do it this way and see how it works, right? So there's a whole process that you do going into rapid induction, kind of laying the foundation. That's something that I obviously teach here. And I went for it. I skipped all the stuff that I teach and I normally do. And I don't often skip it, but I was like, let me just give this a shot. And I did it and it didn't really work. And then I did another thing and it didn't really work. So then I kind of backed off for a moment and then I went back in and then I re-explained everything. I came in with a strong frame. I took control of the interaction. I didn't get compliance. I didn't get small commitments. I didn't tell them what was going to happen. I did fully commit. Okay. But I just was like, hey, let me see your hand. Like none of this. Okay. So point is, even though it didn't work the first or even the second time, and there was resistance on the third time, I kept going and I got the person to comply with what I was doing, what I was saying, and then they ended up experiencing hypnosis. Okay, so if it doesn't work the first time, don't just go, oh, it didn't work. No, go back at it again. Okay. Number 8 is you've got to practice. Okay. Practice when you're by yourself. Practice your script out loud before you ever actually do it with a live, real human being. Because one thing that's going to happen is if you don't practice out loud and you go to do it with somebody and it doesn't work, you're going to get discouraged and go, okay, see, it doesn't work. No, you've got to practice and have your routine down, just like any, an actor practices their lines or entertainer practices their movements, right? You've got to practice before you go out and do it live. And the more you can practice, the more confidence and certainty you'll have, the easier these steps are going to be to implement. Okay. Now, I said there was 10 things and I must have miscounted because there's only 9. Okay. So here's the 9th thing that you want to do. Okay. Is you want to study relentlessly when it comes to hypnosis. study everything, free videos, go to courses, do the things, practice over and over again, see how different people do it, right? Because there's different methods to everybody's madness. So if you want to study relentlessly and you want to learn more about hypnosis, I have put together a free hypnosis training down in the description to give you a little bit of understanding more so of what's actually happening when you do hypnosis, because most people really don't understand what it is. So that way you could start either working to use it for yourself, or you could use it to help other people. So if you'd like access to that free training, go down in the description and get access to the free training now. Again, guys, if you like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.